How's it going, guys? We are back in the world of the first Descendant, and in today's video I'm going to give you guys the ultimate modding guide. This guide is designed purely to give you the ability to know how to mod your Descendants, your weapons, and just get the most out of your characters, because I do notice a lot of players are starting to transition into the harder intercept bosses and harder content, and if you're not modding correctly or at least understanding how to mod, you're going to have a hard time beating these bosses. So this video is going to be the video to help you out with that. I don't want to waste too much time. Let's dive right on into this video. Alright, so first things first, let's go over the modules for the individual Descendant. We're going to be looking at Ajax. This is the guy I'm maining right now. So the first thing you need to recognize is these individual slots here. They're called sockets. This is very similar to the polarity system in Warframe if you ever played that game, and let me explain to you how this works. So you will notice that there are empty slots and then there's these with these sockets. So the best way to find the socket specific for this is to go to this little menu here and then click this one. So how does this system work? So you can see here I have a level 9 mentality. This used up 9 of my module capacity, and that's a pretty sizable chunk, and that leaves us room for maybe 5 more modules when we have a mountain of open slots. So when I put this into this specific slot, this is going to reduce the cost by 4, meaning we have it at 5. And this is kind of the focus of these individual slots. You're going to ideally want to slot those specific markers within these slots to get the best benefit. Once again, this one has 14. We put this here. Boom, it has 7. We literally saved on half of the cost, meaning we got double the effectiveness out of these individual mods because we were able to put it in these slots. Now that's cool, you got some extra benefit out of your mods, but there's a little bit more that you can do to get a lot more out of your benefits. So there's a skill module. This is going to go for your Transcendent mods. These are going to be farmed, and I'll show you quickly. And for example, for Ajax, if you're looking for Ajax specifically, he has one in, I believe, this map up here, and this one is Void Charge. These are the Transcendent mods. This changes his void jump to do something specifically different. I don't recall what it is, but this is where you can find it, for example, and this is what you'll slot into that specific slot for your skill. You can only have one at any given time, and you want to be sure to use it for your build, kind of tailor around it. Now the sub module. Now the sub module is actually a pretty big one. And for sub-modules, you're going to be using these individual weapons. You'll notice that they have a very similar bottom part. And what these do is you put them in, and you'll notice that I'll be using a short sword at the time whenever I do swing. I'm not going to do that in this video, but that's what it does. Now you'll notice it didn't take any capacity, right? So that's pretty good. You get a free weapon out of it. It's going to give you some benefits. That's cool. But the reality is what you actually want to do is, you can see I have a level 8 short sword. It's going to increase my maximum capacity by 8. As you see here, it went from 50 to 58. And this is another benefit that you can actually take advantage of by adding a weapon or a weapon art, I guess. I'm not sure how to describe these, but these are like weapon arts is what I'm going to call them. You can slot them into this individual sub module slot and get yourself some extra benefits. So that is another key thing you need to understand about modding your Descendants. So as you can see, now I have 12 out of 58, and technically, because I added this in, I barely used more than like 2 technically, because they increased and then I got reduction. So I got basically a 2 usage out of having all these in. So really powerful. Now the next thing to note is over here, and these are called module additional settings, and what these are 2 things. First is the max capacity up, and what this is going to do is increase, we're going to say this is going to increase your maximum capacity of your module. This is from a energy activator. Some of you get these from bundles. These can be farmed. Obviously they're very expensive, and they're going to take some time to be able to get these, but you also get one for free for getting to level 40. So you want to use this wisely. I use Ajax quite a bit. I'll be using him for a long time, so I'm going to use this for the point of the video. And as you can see, this is going to increase the size of my capacity of my mod. So now I have 78 capacity. So now we can get a lot more out of it. So let's say we want to just throw in a bunch of high cost ones, and as you can see, we're getting, oh, can't put that one in, but we're getting a ton of extra out of it. And I know a lot of players think that you can't actually fill out these slots, but eventually, once you actually, put those little polarity slots or sockets on, you'll be able to get a massive amount of benefits out of it. You max this out, you get those polarities, and you'll have every single one of these things filled out, and your Descendant will be extremely strong. Now, how do you get those polarities? go into the module additional settings. I'm gonna call them polarities, they're called sockets, but Warframe, 10 years of Warframe in my head. It's called additional module socket type. Save again. And then you can use these crystallization catalysts to basically build it. And then you're going to, I don't know, slap C here if you decide to put a C there. But you would slot it in. I don't have one, sadly. I need to go research them. And this is how you're going to get more extra like benefit from your Descendant. And that's like the best way to super maximize your Descendant and make them super powerful. Obviously, this is exactly the same way for weapons. They don't have a like sub module slot, so that's a little unfortunate. But you can do the same thing here too. You can put these little slots in and assign the sockets, and boom, get some extra benefit out of them, which is super nice for your weapons. Now here's the difference between the weapon and the actual Descendant. When you add a socket into the Descendant, it will reset their level. So you would go from level 40 back down to 0. That's where with a weapon is going to maintain its current level. So that's the big difference, so make sure you know that before you swap. So you're going to have to take out some modules, level your Descendant once again, and then afterwards put it up in there with the module socket, and then you'll be even more powerful. And it's a little annoying, but it's going to give you a lot of benefit. It's super important to get. Now while we're on the subject of module transmissions, let's talk about upgrading your weapons a little bit, because this is to some degree kind of moddy, I guess. So as you can see here, I have a tamer. Actually, I don't have a weapon higher. Oh, actually I do. So my tamer is a machine gun that has some really good stats: firearm crit rate, bonus firearm attack versus Colossus firearm, and then weak point damage. I use this one specifically for killing bosses because it's really good at killing the intercept bosses. So that's what I use it for. Let's say, for example, you find this at level 40, in which I found this one at level 40 actually. I've been upgrading it consistently from using the weapon transmission system. So for example, I have this weapon here. This is level 87. I'm 92 currently on the weapons that I've found. And you're going to take these phase exchangers to basically transfer over the benefits. So as you can see here, going from 87 to 92, it's going to give me like 20,000 more damage per second, which is pretty big. So we're going to do that. And it's going to cost us those transmitters, but we got a ton of extra DPS, and I can continue to use my weapon that is really good rolls and really good stats on them. So this is super important to note that you can do this, and I wouldn't overdo it too much, but if you find a weapon with a lot of good substats like I got here, then you definitely want to like do that and make sure and maintain to keep a weapon like this, because it's going to be very powerful to, you know, pretty much keep it. I always purchase these and keep these going off of cooldown whenever I'm actively just going through the map and playing the game. You should do probably about the same as well. This isn't a tips or tricks video specifically for that, but I did want to just point that out because they're going to give you a ton of extra benefit for your weapons. A few other things I do want to go over quickly. Weapon readjustment. This is going to be for if you want to like re-roll certain stats on weapons. Again, it's going to cost these fine adjustment control axes. It's going to change depending on the rarity. These are very easy to craft. So let's say you want to like readjust some things, you could in theory, and it'll re-roll it. We got a legendary firearm attack on this, so in theory I would like lock this and then readjust again. I'm just showing this for science. This is actually not bad either. I'll just show you again. Readjust, boom, boom, boom. It kept that stat. And you can just keep doing this, and you're going to do this till you eventually get the stats that you want for your individual weapon. You can do this to literally any weapon, and I highly recommend, once again, you start to build these up. Start craft them off cooldown. Liquid metal's not hard to get. You just melt down weapons and you will get this. So just make sure you're doing this constantly, and that's super important towards crafting. Enhance unique abilities. These are typically, from what I can tell, only on legendaries, and you can enhance their unique ability. So let's say I want to enhance this. I can enhance it by doing that. Boom, I consume one of them, and then now this ability went up. You'll need copies of that individual legendary, and that's a very quick one that you can do, or ultimate, not legendary, sorry. And you can make that even more stronger. So this is another path of upgrade for your weapons as you get duplicates of ultimate weapons. Once again, you can actually do this for your reactors. This is actually pretty important as well too. So as you can see here, I have a level 92 reactor, and hypothetically if I want to upgrade this, I can bring this here, use some of these ion accelerators, and keep enhancing this and making it much stronger. Again, all these things that I've showed you in this video basically sets you up so that you can pretty much make your character much stronger. There's a lot of power that your characters have available to them, but you need to basically build them, and that's going to take a lot of time. But if you understand these things, you will basically have a Descendant that will absolutely decimate all the content in the game. Finally, since we are talking about modules, it'll be a little irresponsible of me of not to mention this. This isn't necessarily upgrade, but this is good for those who want some Kuiper shards or whatever it's called to upgrade your other modules. So dismantle modules here. You can find this at the guy that does all the modules. You can use this to dismantle all the like duplicates that you have. Hold shift and it'll duplicate one of each of the, like everything beyond one of them. So I'm gonna dismantle these, and as you can see, I just got a ton of shards. I already had a ton anyway, but I got even more so. So if you are like actively farming and you have a ton of modules and you're trying to get more of these shards, this is a nice way to get them to upgrade your modules. Anyway guys, that is it for this ultimate module guide. I hope this video gave you guys a little bit of direction and understanding of how to properly mod your Descendants and your weapons. I'm going to be pumping a lot of content for the first Descendant, so you know exactly what to do, how to progress, how to build certain characters, things like that. So if you do want to stay up to date on all things the first Descendant, consider leaving me a like, or even better yet, subscribing to the channel, because again, I'm going to keep you up to date. I live stream over on Twitch every single day, the first Descendant Fervor. I'll have a link down in the description if you want to check the channel out. I'd love to have you guys there. And yeah, just like that guys, I'll see you in the next video very soon.